The showdown between President Trump and some of America's top universities has reached new heights. This week, Trump threatened Harvard's tax-exempt status after Harvard refused to comply with sweeping demands from the government surrounding its admissions, hiring, and many other policies. The Trump administration also threatened to block Harvard's ability to enroll international students unless it made data on these students available to the government. And it froze over $2 billion of Harvard's government funding. It is all part of a severe crackdown on universities, the earliest of which came against Columbia. Joining me now to talk about the Trump administration's attacks on higher education is Lee Bollinger. He served as president of Columbia University for more than 2 decades, starting in 2002. Lee, welcome. What do you think the aim of these sweeping demands are? Because it's premised on the idea that they want to rid Harvard of anti-Semitism, but the demands are so wide-reaching. You know, it involves hiring of faculty, diversity viewpoints within departments, admissions policies. What do you think is going on?
So I think that's right. I think the remedies that they're seeking, the intrusions that they're taking, are clearly designed to intimidate universities, to, in some ways, really take control of the basic functions of universities. And it's not really about anti-Semitism. I mean, we all care about anti-Semitism. Every university does. We care as much as the government, but these encroachments into academic freedom, they're really unprecedented. Haven't seen anything like this in my lifetime. I mean, I think the closest parallel is the McCarthy period of the 1950s, but that was one senator going after individuals. This is the executive branch of the government going after institutions, and it seems like a campaign of intimidation.
And the government does have extraordinary powers, right? I mean, the things they're doing, again, I've never heard of them in American history. Threatening to revoke the tax-exempt status, threatening to not allow them to enroll foreign students, even threatening to do something about the accreditation, which would make it difficult for Harvard students to get Pell Grants and loans and all that kind of thing. This is a kind of weaponization of the government's power. Can a university fight it?
So I think the universities have no choice but to fight it. Censorship is really what has been the core of First Amendment development over the last century. What has not really been tested is the massive power of the government, not just to directly censor and punish people and put them in jail for ideas they express, but the use of the funding, the contracting, the other, the administrative state to really accomplish the same goals as direct censorship. And so this poses a very serious problem for universities, for the society, also for the courts to figure out what are the limits of the government's use of these kinds of powers that really could be just as serious, if not more serious, than direct censorship.
You're a very distinguished First Amendment scholar. When you look at this situation, do you think Harvard, who was almost certainly going to sue the federal government, I assume, do you think it will prevail in court? Do you think the universities have, a strong case?
I do think they have a very strong case. I mean, there are 2 fundamental problems here under a First Amendment analysis. One is, to what extent should the First Amendment sort of supervise or control government efforts through their funding, contracting, and other powers to stop the government from limiting speech in that form? Again, First Amendment has many cases that say the government cannot directly censor speech. What about the efforts of the government to censor speech by employing its powers of dispensing funding? I have no doubt that as applied to these actions of the government, that universities and Harvard would win. The second issue is the extent to which universities should be entitled to a special status under the First Amendment. And there are some great opinions and some decisions that really do recognize the special role that universities play in advancing knowledge, the search for truth, and therefore are entitled to special protections. Those two doctrines, those two areas of the First Amendment are really what's at stake here. I'm fairly confident that at the end of the day, Harvard and other universities would prevail on these claims.